Hello and welcome back to the Rice Robotics Club Robo-Tutorial. This is the video in which we'll be CADing our final part. It's very exciting. It will be the sensor mount. It'll be this piece that connects the ultrasonic sensor to our Link 2. So with this, we'll finally complete CADing of individual parts of this robot, and then we'll actually get into the process of creating the assembly that shows how all of the parts will connect to one another. So to build this mount, we're actually going to import the CAD of the ultrasonic sensor and then build a mount around it. So in our original Onshape dock, go into the File Select, choose Import. You'll need to import this ultrasonic sensor CAD file that we've provided for you. Accept all defaults here. It'll take a moment to import. Once it does, open the file and you'll see this sensor. It does have some errors, but that's not actually going to impact our what we're using it for, so don't worry too much about that. We have the sensor. This is not totally representative of what our sensors will look like, but it's close enough so that we can build a mount around it, and it'll work with the sensors that we'll give you for your robot. So we're going to start by creating a new sketch on the back of this sensor. This will be where we design the support points where screws actually connect this sensor to our mount. So select the Use tool from the toolbar. We're going to project these top left and top right holes onto the sketch plane. And now we're going to draw some rectangles to complete those support points. We'll start by drawing a corner rectangle. We'll start it out in space here and cross so that we'll enclose this circle. Placing the other corner there. Now this rectangle should be 13 millimeters tall and 9.5 millimeters wide. So add dimensions to make the rectangle 13 millimeters tall and then 9.5 millimeters wide. Okay. And then now we need to specify its position to fully define this sketch. So we're going to add two 3 millimeter dimensions. The first one will be between this edge of the sensor and this edge of the rectangle. That should be 3 millimeters. And then one more between this edge of the sensor and this edge of our rectangle should also be 3 millimeters. And that should fully define our sketch. So before this sketch is complete, we need to mirror this rectangle so that there's another one associated with this hole over here. To do that, we're going to use the mirror tool. We're going to mirror about this line that divides the sensor vertically. And then we're going to mirror all of these sketch entities over so that we have a matching support point on the other side. So now this sketch is complete, so we're going to extrude it to a depth of 5 millimeters. Rotate a little bit to make sure that that's adding material like we want. Now, we don't want to be adding material to this sensor. We want to be creating new bodies because this sensor mount is going to be a separate piece, a separate part than the ultrasonic sensor. Make sure New is selected in the dialog box. Click the green check mark. Name your feature. Okay, now we're going to add some more to this mount. We're going to create a new sketch on the top face of one of these rectangles. It doesn't matter which because they're going to be parallel, so it's going to be the same effect, whichever one you choose. No, that's okay. Okay, so we're going to draw another corner rectangle. Select corner rectangle from the toolbar. The first corner is going to be coincident with the corner of this rectangle. And then the other corner should be coincident with the edge of this rectangle, or with the corner in the top right. So just place the other corner anywhere. going to escape that corner rectangle tool and then drag this corner so that it's coincident with this vertex. Now to fully define this, we need to define the length of this edge. That is going to be a 25 millimeter dimension. So select that edge, make sure it has the length of 25 millimeters. Now this is fully defined, so we're ready to extrude this sketch. And it will also be extruded 5 millimeters. And this should not be new, this should be adding material. And specify a merge scope, it should merge with all. And that should unify these two bodies that we created in the previous step and this new body into a single part. So extrude 5 millimeters, adding material, merging with all, finalize the feature. And now, since they all have the same color, you can see this is all of one body, and then the sensor is actually composed of a bunch of bodies because of the file that we imported. But that doesn't matter too much. As long as this is one part, we're good to go. So to make this compatible with Link 2, we now need to add the holes on top that will allow us to connect it to Link 2 using bolts. So we're going to create a new sketch on the top face of the mount. And we're going to draw another construction line. In this case, the construction line is going to be horizontal and coincident with both edges of this rectangle. Make sure that it's not at the midpoint. Just make sure it's at any other point so that we can specify its position later. So draw that line, escape the line tool. And now we need to fully define this by specifying its vertical position. Okay. So we're going to create a dimension. And that distance is going to be 12.5 millimeters. Actually, in this case, I think we could have just placed it at the midpoint. It would have had the same effect, but it doesn't matter. This line is now fully defined, and we can place some circles along it to create our holes. And just like in Link 2, these holes are going to be 3 millimeters. The first one will be centered at the midpoint of this construction line. So draw a circle there, add a dimension that specifies a diameter of 3 millimeters. And similar to what we've done before, we'll draw another circle elsewhere on the line. So similar to what we did with Link 2, we're going to draw another circle somewhere else on this construction line that has the same diameter. Draw the circle, and we're going to apply an equal relation. So go up to the relation menu, select equal, select both of these circles to lock in their dimensions. And finally, we'll add a dimension between the centers of these circles, and it will be the same as before. It's going to be a 13 millimeter dimension between their centers. And the dimensions of these holes need to be exactly the same as what we had on Link 2 to make sure that the two designs will be compatible with one another. So we need to be careful as we make these dimensions to make sure that the two pieces will fit together. But also the nice thing is once we get to the assembly phase, we're actually putting all these parts together. If the holes don't line up, at that point we'll know that it's an issue and we can go back into the part to fix it. In this case, we just know the dimensions ahead of time. They should line up fine. So now we're going to mirror this hole to the other side of the mount, just like we did with Link 2. Use the mirror tool, mirror about the line that divides the sensor vertically. Mirror this hole. And now this sketch is complete, so we're ready to extrude. We're going to be removing material. It's a hole, so we'll use a through all end type. Click the green check mark. Make sure to be naming our features as we go. Okay, and now that that feature is added, our sensor mount is complete. So with that part complete, that's the final part of our arm that we have to CAD individually. So join me in the next video and we'll start actually putting these parts together in an assembly.